Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Modern Market, where every day we discuss all things to do with the modern market. That is the crypto market, the NFT market, and how to save your money on the internet when it is going down. Loaded up for discussion today. We have gold hitting another all-time high at $4,350 as crypto is selling off hard at the moment. Gold becomes the first $30 trillion market cap asset in history. And meanwhile, Eric Trump says the Trump family has already made $1 billion from crypto. Great timing, as everyone else is losing all of their money. We'll discuss that, as well as a general roundup on price action on crypto and NFTs, and a general discussion of where we think things are going at the moment. It feels pretty volatile, so we will give our thoughts as usual. Today, I've got Brad in the co-host seat with me. We're ready to get into it, but just a reminder, friends, before we do, nothing that we say here is financial advice. This market is very, very risky, as we are experiencing right now. And so please exercise your own judgment, take your own precautions, do your own research. It's a risky market, so take care out there. With that out of the way, Brad, it is Friday. It is the 17th of October. Things are taking a little bit of a nosedive here on this Friday, the 17th. How are you doing? How are you feeling, my man?
We are promptly shifting back to a builder's market.
Oh, is that what we call it now?
Yeah.
It's not a bear market. It is a
builder's market.
Optimistic perspective.
Yeah. No, I mean, things are fine. I tweeted actually just a second ago. I'm pretty mad at myself because, like, one, I was like one of the people that was pretty cautious in the chat of like, hey man, this stuff's kind of systemic. Like, I think this thing's gonna bleed a little bit. And the other day I entered into a quick scalp trade that now just turned me into a long-term trade. Like, I literally said in chat, whenever I saw that the big whale who had his short was getting liquidated, I was like, I just jumped into a trade. This is like meant for like hours. I'm gonna get out of this thing quick. And then I just kind of like let it do its thing. And now I'm a community member. So we're writing that down, and we're getting dangerously close to some liquidation levels. So that's fun. But we're hanging out.
That's why did that surprise me, Brad? Did you sell those NFTs in the end?
No, you weren't. You weren't here for that. I capitulated and I staked them. So
okay, look, I'm just happy you pressed some button related to. You pressed some buttons. You did something with them. You didn't just let them sit there.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, yeah, that was the thing where I was just like, man, I got to do something with these. They're missing points because I know a token's coming for the collection. So I was like, okay, I either stake these fucking things and like build up my points and then get this airdrop in the future, which is probably also going to go to zero because NFT airdrop tokens don't do well. But like, whatever, let's play the game because I don't need it. So yeah, we play the game. I stake the things. I actually got to check my rank. I think I climb pretty quickly because I have a lot of these things. Yeah.
Okay. Well, that is one way to play it. At least you took some action. Although I would have preferred if you pressed sell. We never took our meeting in the end to literally force you to press the sell button. What do you think of this question before we get into some of the thoughts? Obviously, the market is going down a reasonable amount. Hope everyone is okay with that. Obviously, I suspect people are not happy. But hope you're doing well. At least not one of those crazy liquidations. I don't think it's like a wipeout day, but I think the fatigue of the market just going down and not going up, and the amount of time, but the amount of willpower that's going into trying to make it go up is definitely affecting people a little bit here. So I hope everyone's doing all right with that. We'll, obviously get into a bigger discussion to share some of our thoughts and reflections and philosophy about how we're looking forward. What do you think of this question though, Brad, before we get there? English asks the question, why do I always have less money in the builders market? What's the answer to that?
Yeah, because you pegged it correctly. Builders market is the bear market. That's what we have to church it up a little bit so that it's attainable. But like, it is kind of a commentary on. I know he's just saying that in jest, but like, man, the industry's not going anywhere. Like, everyone's trying to call tops and like do all this stuff. I have no issues right now. And I don't think this is the top. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. I think, yeah, we're just a little overextended. I have magic lines that are getting hit. So like, some of it would say that this is just like a reversion to the mean. I've actually seen some macro guys starting to say that the gold stuff feels a little toppy, and now they're rotating from gold to Bitcoin, like initiating that now. So yeah, man, I actually feel pretty good. I think that there's a lot of tailwinds for us over the next 6 months. I don't see all the things that have been leading to today stopping. And in fact, I see them continuing to go in greater amounts. So play the game.
Okay. I'm going to take a little bit of the other side in a bit, but I'm going to do that in a bit. Like when we get to the headline, when we talk about gold, when we talk about where we are, when we talk a little bit and zoom out, look at like the political landscape in the States, which I'm more increasingly just kind of in order to try and frame my timings of things and think about when things are launching, when things are happening in the political calendar. I want to share some ideas around that in a little bit. So I think we'll have a good discussion on that in a bit.
How's your first week back been?
First week back.
Oh yeah, sorry. Like I was still thinking on the legendary week where me and him, it was just him and I for a while, but you've been back now. This is 2 weeks, right? So this is your second week back to.
I don't even know. Yeah, but potentially, I think I've been back 2 weeks. Yeah. One thing on that though, like I will say, because I was thinking about this a lot this morning actually, and again, people will say this is bear market chat. Everyone in the Telegram chat will be saying, you know, there are various things that we're going to do in the book bear market. We're going to create a book club. We're gonna do our first IRL big event. And I was just like, I'm kind of in that mindset, frankly, even if we are where we are. And I'll have some more reflections on that in a bit. But when you're thinking about, you know, taking time off, like, okay, I had a week off because I can't even remember why I was off now. I had to do something, I think. But I genuinely believe one of the reasons we've got to the position that we are in now, whether it's just on the media side or actually on the investing side, we don't take days off, like in general, as a general perspective. And I think that's why, even when I'm asking you the question, like, how are you feeling? What's the perspective? Like when you are an actual builder in some capacity and you're doing well and you're like working towards something proper, it kind of takes a lot of the edge off and it puts you in a position for success. Like it sets you up for success. I can't explain whether it gets the most engagement or not. Like my daily update, the written daily update that I do, which serves as the core for the research for the show. I do that myself. It doesn't get outsourced. Like that is the foundation for all of my success in this space. Like if I really, really think about it, me doing the work myself every day is the foundation of everything. And if you look around, some of the most prominent people this cycle and actually even previous, someone like Mando, for example, who jumped in the chat yesterday as well, or a couple of days ago, Tyler, who's an awesome trader, like these people putting the work every day. And just, you know, on the off chance, well, on a reasonable chance that this might be like some lull for whatever reason, or a period where prices are not good, just switching off is just is not the way to go. It's not the way to go. You have to stay engaged. You have to put the work in. That would be my just out loud reflection. It's a kind of bear market reflection, but what do you make of that, Brett, before we get into the main stuff today?
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is a bear market reflection. I think we've talked about this in the past actually too, where we're seasoned. I bought my first bag in 2017, and when things turned red, I disappeared for till 2021, right? Like I just went away. I was like, okay, this is a 5-year commitment. I'm just not going to pay attention. And I wish I had spent that time actually familiarizing myself, like earning experience, like being in the trenches, whatever you want to call it, just participating broadly. So I made sure to promise myself not to do that through the last bear, right? Like from the gap from 2022 to 2024, we'll say. And I stuck it out, and I'm very thankful for it. It allowed me to transition careers. It allowed me to do that. And get to this point. So, I mean, this is my life now. So yeah, I'm not going anywhere. And I will say that it feels especially disjointed now because like I view modern market a little bit as my doing the work daily thing, because it's my doing the work daily thing for the broad market versus my literal job, which is doing the work for MegaETH now, right? Because like if I focused all of my life on just MegaETH stuff, I would put myself in a bubble. I would be quarantined off from everything else that's going on, and I don't want to lose touch with like the broader ecosystem. So coming here, doing these talks with you guys, getting sentiment from the market, trying to make sure like I participate and actively and like engage in the rest of the ecosystem, like this is my doing the work on top of like like forcing me to like stay in tune with everyone, because I feel like I'm disjointed. Because like, yeah, like Bitcoin doing whatever it's going to do does not impact the timelines that I need to adhere to for MegaETH. Like we have stuff to ship. I have things to do. I have like sure, some announcements get adjusted, but yeah, it's two different time cycles for me.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. It is funny. Sometimes people will talk about either this show or just any kind of routine thing that they need to do, and they'll be like, "Oh, I don't have time for that. I don't have time for it." You know, I do tune in sometimes, but you know, something, and like I just think there's such a correlation between the people who do really, really well and they commit to something which is helpful to them, and then show some commitment, guys. Like whether it's to the show specifically, obviously I hope that is one of the things people are committed to because they find value in it, both in a uptrending market or in a downtrending market or anything else.
After we met, right?
Yeah,
we met in the bear.
That's how we did it. And and to the extent that we might be going into a lull, it's the better time to catch up with people, to create and forge relationships that are going to spur you on the next time we get into some kind of hysteria. So look, this is the
to be clear, this is not over. We like, man, you are already like you're giving up, bros. Like people in the chat, like what, like yeah, if you have like liquidations like on the horizon, like that sucks. But like I'm at 87% right now of like confidence of not over. So you're not gonna hear bear talk out of me.
I'm going to explain where I think we are when we get into that section, because it's tied to some political stuff, I think. Shout out to the people who are here every single day in the Telegram chat, in the YouTube chat. English saying he's here every single day. We love it in the YouTube comments. Rune Lord being dialed into the show since the previous bear. Rune Lord's one of the smartest investors that I know for sure. Traffy backing us up here. It's time to lock in, search for new opportunities, grind for a better future. But look, let's focus on the present. Forget the future for 1 second. Let's talk about what's going on today. It is a red market. We'll do the price action. Apologies for, we're not going to do images on the screen if you're watching in on Twitter or YouTube today, having some technical issues. So we'll just go off the top and start with Bitcoin, which is down 5% to $106,000. That's a big move in 24 hours, to be fair. 13% on the week down. ETH is down 6% to, let me just double check that. I think it was
lower. I mean, it wicked down to high twos. So like, we're like, it's now at 106,000 now, but that's because it ripped, you know, from 102 or 103 to 106 in the last 15 minutes. So,
oh, wow. Okay. So we retested the lows of 102 and now it's up to 106. Okay. I need to refresh this. This was up from, okay, here we go. So Bitcoin is down 5%, but now it's at 106. ETH is, I think, back to 3.8. I think that went down to around 3.7 or maybe 3.6. BNB is down 9% or so to just over $1,000. That's a big move down as well. Solana's down 8% to $180. Hyperliquid is down almost 10% to $34, and Sui is down 12% to $2.40. Go on.
So you call out Hyperliquid going down. I'm wondering how much of this stuff is people like. That's always going to be an element of hype being so closely correlated to a perps platform, where it's like, whenever the liquidation cascade happened last week and I had to have quick access to funds, guess where I pulled that from? I had to sell off a little bit of hype, right?
Yeah.
So in big market moves like this, I bet we're always going to see a disjointed reaction from hype specifically, at least within our ecosystem.
For sure. It's also the thing that foreseeably most people, the people who are in, are most up on. It's the big winner of the cycle, right? So to the extent that you don't want to cut your losses on something and you're up a lot, it hurts less to be taking profits, even if it's not as much profits as it would have been if you sold at the absolute top. Rune Lord made an excellent point. This is why I started selling a little bit last week and I sold more this week as well. My hype position is actually significantly smaller than what it used to be. It used to be one of my biggest. Now it's actually kind of negligible. Just as I've started de-risking across the board. Rune Lord said, tomorrow the biggest hype cluster gets unstaked. If you follow the MLM account on Telegram, which is excellent, there's a huge amount of hype that's getting unstaked at the moment. And, you don't know what's going to happen with that. Is that just going to be market sold? Is it not? We don't know. But, it's always always get a bit nervous around that kind of thing. I also think, actually, whilst we're on hype, no knowledge, don't know anything for sure, but the first airdrop was November last year. Obviously, they're kind of mysterious to the extent of like, when's the second airdrop going to be? Is there going to be a second airdrop? Has there been a points program? No one really knows. We're coming up to 1 year after soon.
Man,
could there be an additional hype airdrop, which would be wonderful for the people who get it, because all of that money that they've maybe lost over the last year will get refunded in some capacity. I bet it's going to make a lot of people whole because it's so it's potentially so valuable. I don't think they'll drop all. I think there's as much as 30% still to be distributed. I'd love anyone in the comments to let me know how much, but I don't think they'll do all of that. But even if it was a bit, it's still going to be a significant amount. But then it's going to get sold off, isn't it?
Especially after last week's event. Yeah,
exactly. So to realize your refund, like if there was a hype airdrop in the next couple of weeks, that's going to be downward pressure because people are going to sell it off if they've lost money. Frankly, even if they've made money, they're still going to sell it off because they'll know that so many other people have lost money and therefore the price is going to go down. So
plus it's the bear market.
Apologies, Mikhail, in the YouTube comments. Stop spreading FUD with low Bitcoin prices. That was bread that time. That was 100% bread. That was not me. Right. Getting into the meme coin side of things, carnage across the board. Everything red, I would say, more or less. Doge is down 8% back to 18 cents. Doesn't feel very good seeing Doge there. Pengu down 10%. Pump down 10% to 3.5 bill FDV. Trump's down 5%. Bonk is down 10. SPX down 14. WIF is down 10. Fartcoin down 11 to 350 mil FDV. Useless down 20 or 18 or so. Rec down 20 in a day. Gosh, some of this stuff has moved hard down. Mog is down 10 as well. Okay. You wanted to say something, Brett?
I'm just like, you just said that, like, hearing the raw percentages, and just like, could you imagine like some of these people that have like their full net worth and some of this shit's just like, bro, your net worth is oscillating 20% in a day. It's I mean, it is the space. It's not nothing new, but still, like, every now and then you kind of like actually wake up to what that means in like actual numbers. And like, yeah, that's not great. That wouldn't feel good.
Exactly. So yeah, that's why I guess being slowly over time, as the market gets more and more toppy, wherever we are in that period of time, adjusting to more secure assets over that time, rather than thinking you're going to time it all in one go, I think would be the thing that like kind of keeps you sane, probably. Quick question here. I like this question actually. Do you guys think KBM or Mando wins? So the guys who run Yeet, obviously people know KBM and Mando very well. We're partners with Yeet, the crypto casino, and they've got a $100,000 bet on at the moment. Mando thought Bitcoin will go to 120K first. KBM said 100K first. Obviously, we're almost at 100K. Brad, do you think we're going to take Mando? Down? Yeah, you think we're going to?
So I need to understand what the exact criteria is. Is it like daily close below?
It's just like literally just what gets hit.
If yeah, but like, is that like a wick down there? Like, we've seen weirdness where like,
I think so.
I don't think it gets there. I think there's so much psychological and institutional bid that it doesn't get to the 100K mark, just because like that's such a psychological number that people will step in because everyone's anticipating the 100K number, and they're probably pegged that in their head of like, this is when I buy, which means it will never get to that number. It will get to the 101.25, whatever, and then it will just bleed up. Like, it'll hurt to get there or get close to it, but I don't think it hits it.
Okay. I'm taking the other side. I think it's KBM. Not, and like, so obviously it's in some ways easier to say KBM when you're like $5,000 away rather than 15 grand away. But I was thinking that the same. English in the comments, I've been saying KBM even at 115K as well. I mean, I'm still short ETH. So I obviously think we're going to go there. Have been short ETH for a while. Okay, let's get into the headlines themselves to get you up to speed with what we're going to be talking about today. And getting into the roundup, just to get you all the other news you need. So gold has hit another all-time high at $43,000. My God, can you imagine? $4,350 as crypto sells off hard. Gold becomes the first $30 trillion market cap asset in history. And then the other headline I want to talk about is Eric Trump saying that Trump family has already made $1 billion from crypto. Me and Brad were speaking about that in an interesting way beforehand. We want to bring that conversation up as well. Some notable price action. Asta's down. It's just a bloodbath, basically. Asta's down 17%. BNB's down 12%. Hype's down 9%.
What's the number right now for Asta?
For Asta, when I wrote this, it was at $1.09. $1, basically $1.
Okay.
So down almost 20%. BNB's down 12. Hype's down 9. Zcash is down 18% to $195. So big moves down across the board. Some NFTs still going through, some CryptoPunk selling around 48 ETH.
I missed my timing on that Zcash short. I got nuked on it. After the liquidations, I was like, there's no way this fucking thing is going to continue to go up. So I put it on a short with liquidation above all-time highs. Well, at least like not all-time highs, but like since 20, whenever it was been live. Yeah, it still bursted up through. The only thing that was green for the next like 3 days. Yeah, it got me.
Painful.
And now it's actually, because I was playing the rotation meta where it's like we had like 5 weeks back to back where it's like, oh, it's a perp platform, oh, it's a we had like all these metas back to back, BNB season, for meme, like all these things. And I was just shorting them on the back end of it and writing it down, and I thought privacy meme was going to be a thing for a hot week, and yeah, it just had a lot more strength than I anticipated.
That's a hard one, because maybe 2 days later that would have been the right thing to do. It was just hard to call the precise top on something that was going so kind of viral and getting so much excitement right there and then. So yeah, Meheb in the comments saying the Mert effect potentially. There's a few very prominent people pushing Zcash for a while, and to be fair to them, I think they genuinely believe in it, and I think they think there is a bigger point to be made there around privacy and stuff. I don't think it's just to make the price go up. But yeah, that has pulled back significantly. Right, quick roundup from the rest of the space before we get into the main discussion today. Charles Schwab plans to add spot crypto trading in the first half of 2026, if anyone even wants crypto by that time. MegaETH and Chainlink announced first of its kind integration combining security of traditional on-chain oracles with immediacy of streaming data. That's pretty cool on the data side. Robinhood announces multiple new token listings, including Asta, XPL, and Virtuals. So everyone could get wrecked within 24 hours of buying any of those tokens on Robinhood. Ethereal, the first DeFi everything app powered by USDE, announces its mainnet launch next week. Kind of intrigued by that. Been providing some liquidity there for a long damn time. So if that airdrop is not good, I will be furious. Thought it was kind of an interesting idea, like USDE's first everything app, Athena being one of the biggest winners of this cycle. Surely that should be good, but I don't know.
Are you anticipating more like ENA or like a new token, or how are you in
Ethereal being a new token? But you could have just provided USD, like you're just farming points basically. You can put USD in, but it's been ages now, to the point where it's like, are you guys farming us at this point? I don't know about it. It's one of those where it's gone on for so long. Let's see.
5 vibes.
Exactly. I wouldn't go. That was even weirder vibes, to be honest. So not quite that, but it's definitely been a while. 21 shares files for a 2x hype ETF. That's pretty cool. And then a couple of other bits. Igloo announces partnership with Invariant to bring Pudgy Penguins and Pengu to Washington DC. Think they're going to be helping on the lobbying side. This is an interesting raise. I liked. Daylight announces $75 million raise to build the decentralized energy network powering electricity. I've noticed Framework investing in a bunch of interesting things. I think they're a VC that's doing very well. Interesting and more novel things, useful IRL things, which are having some type of on-chain component. They've got a uranium thing coming out. I mean, it's not them. Someone else is building it. They've invested in it, coming out on Plasma, I think, at some point soon. I don't know exactly the status, but I've noticed. I'm noticing these things. That's all I'm saying for now. And then finally, Plasma announces partnership with Buy Lira in Turkey, which will enable population to spend stablecoins. Obviously, stablecoins being very important for certain countries in the world. So that is the roundup, Brad. Before we get to the main discussion today, what is catching your attention? Obviously, we've got a bit of MegaETH news in here. Is that what you want to go to? Is there something else you want to go to?
Yeah.
What's catching your attention?
I'll do that one just because, like, obviously I'm excited about it. And then I'll also give the audience a little bit of a sneak peek for an announcement that's going to come today.
Please do.
So, yesterday's announcement. So we did the registration announcement on Wednesday. The registration is just like, hey, maybe we'll do something fun in the future. Go register on Sonar. Can't disclose anything more than that, but like that's what it is. Go check it out. Yesterday we dropped the partnership with Chainlink. So Chainlink obviously is the big Oracle provider. They tapped us and we are working with them specifically to create like a net new Oracle that kind of combines the best of both pull and push Oracle styles. If you don't care, like on my page, there's a visual that I created to showcase like what's actually going on. And the TLDR is just that we are using like the sequencer that is like the thing that makes us so fast and efficient, and like the thing that we're highly optimizing. We're using that as a way to basically always insert fresh prices ahead of people swapping. So it's instead of you having stale quotes on chain or having the application to have to do the quotes and then go through the process of execution whenever someone sends in a swap, or the actual block builder like inserts the price directly ahead of the transaction. So the price is always basically immediate. It's instantaneous and as fresh as possible. So everyone gets the best swaps. So it's something that just like level up the trading experience and the DeFi ecosystem on Mega.
I love it. I love the technical stuff. I think it's helpful to get those technical breakdowns every now and again. And it's good to see you back at doing your diagrams, Brett. I haven't seen some of the diagrams for a while.
I don't have the time anymore, man. It's tough. Yeah. So like Chainlink God pinged me. He's like, man, you got to do some diagrams. Like, all right, fine. I'll make one. So I ended up doing it. And yeah, it felt good to do it again though. So I'll probably maybe get back into it. The thing people don't notice is we write a lot of articles on the MegaETH page, and there's a lot of diagrams for that. And that's where I create those diagrams. So like I'm outsourced these days.
I get it. So that's good. You said you wanted to add one more take on something. Yeah,
I mean, so like it's gonna drop here in an hour and a half, but I figured give some live announcement stuff for the modern market audience. But we're actually gonna announce that we completed a buyback of 4.75% of our equity. So it's just something that showcases something we're trying to make the future a little more optimal for the people that are already have skin in the game for Mega. So we bought that from VCs that are early investors ahead of everyone else.
No way. Are you going to have details on that in the article coming up?
I mean, what we did and why we did it. Yeah. Not what we're going to do, like use it for, but yeah, that will drop here soon.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty unique. Appreciate you for sharing that with us on the Modern Market as a little preview, little exclusive. That's good news. Right. So we're obviously looking forward to that announcement in 90 minutes then. So we'll keep an eye on that. Aside from that, one announcement, purely administrative, and then a couple of tweets that I've been looking at before we get into the main headlines. Because today's show, there's just some sentiment style headlines I want to talk about. Obviously, we've got to go to gold again. So we'll do that. But just a quick administrative thing first. Obviously, usually on a Friday, we do our Yeet sponsored giveaway. We're going to be doing that on Monday instead, and we'll do a double next week instead because we're having some technical issues on the back end. So we'll do that. Don't worry, we'll take a note of all the people's participation this week, and we'll do that on Monday instead. So that will be that. And then getting into some of these tweets that I have been reading. Some prominent people, Brad, talk again. Maybe this is not really helpful. Why don't we frame this like this? A lot of people just keep flip-flopping on the timeline, talking as soon as stuff goes down, then they're bearish. A lot of stuff, as soon as things go up, then they're just going to flip entirely. The main learning that I'm taking away from this actually is that people don't know. People do not know.
They've never known.
People do not think that anyone knows 100%. I've been speaking routinely now and increasingly about taking responsibility, doing your own original thinking, rather than just being swayed people who are tweeting stuff. No matter how experienced they are, it really doesn't matter right now. It's near the highs. You just need to do your own thing, trust your own thinking, because everyone seems to me, this is me observing, even people who I respect, people who I think are awesome, really smart traders who've been here longer than me, watching their podcasts, and each week they're flip-flopping depending exactly what's happening. I've never seen anything like it. Maybe that's just the kind of market we're in, and so giving them showing some forgiveness in some way to them. We're in like a really headline-driven market again. We used to talk about the president's market at the top of the year, where it's just like, okay, well, whatever Trump says, that's going to be, we're kind of in that moment again, right? Think of the headlines that we're kind of seeing. We're seeing headlines like Trump says this about China. Okay, we're going to dump. Tom Lee says this about DATS, that there's a bubble bursting. Okay, maybe that's going to be bad. Like everything is really gossip like. It's gossip like. I think it's low quality news, things that just flip on a dime. Someone says something on a Friday, they say something else on the Sunday, and then everything changes. It's not a very serious market, in my opinion, at the moment. And so that's one of the reasons I think I've wanted to go more into gold, which is like in an actual trend. Who knows whether it's a top? I don't know. Obviously, everyone's been speaking about gold a lot more. But it's certainly not a narrative-driven market. It's not a headline-driven market, is it, gold at the moment? Whereas at the moment, everything
now
else,
it is.
Maybe now it is. Maybe now like the coal is being put on and the fire is just burning and like people just don't know when to stop buying at the moment. So I appreciate that might be part of it. But everything else, frankly, is just, someone said something, we're going to go down. And then everyone says, yeah, we're going to go down further. Then someone says something else, and then we go up. Then everyone says we're going to keep going up. Like, it's just, I'm not seeing many original takes, or a take that is beyond like the next 24 hours. And maybe that's just part of the market that we're in at the moment. But look, I wanted to share some. Go on, you come first, and I'll share some tweets I've been looking at.
Yeah. I mean, like the epiphany that like no one knows anything. Like no one ever known anything. Like everything has always been a best guess. So like if you've ever like Xi Jinping, like everyone's imbuing all this like crazy shit into him. Like I get it, like it's fun, but like no one actually believes it. Although like some of the stuff is crazy, how like accurate some of it has been. But like the dude misses just as much, right? He was all like given the same dates. He's trying to predict more and more, and as he predicts more and more, you're seeing that like, oh well, yeah, he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. So like no one knows anything. No one's ever known anything. You take a best guess with all the different data points that you have collected around you, and everyone's data points are different. Everyone's time horizons are different. Like it's just a ridiculous game to try to like think anyone knows anything. I learned that from all the Twitter accounts I followed back in 2017. Like I had 2 Twitter accounts that I was following, and I was like, these 2 people have opposite opinions. And if this guy's right at this time, then that means he's the smarter person. And he's going to be the person. And then like, no, he's wrong like 6 months later because he doesn't know either. And like everyone's just making their best guess. So like hit rate, yeah, is a thing, but no one is perfect. No one knows anything. You just like have to make your own judgment based on the data points that you've collected. So yeah.
And I think that's a great point. So it's like, if you ask yourself the question, what are the data points that are informing your decision? If the data points informing your decision is just someone else said something, then I think that's which is what, because I think it's people are not doing the to the source thinking, like the first principles thinking required. It's like, what is the foundation of my view right now? I've laid out my like relatively bearish view, which is kind of just an insurance view for quite some time. And it's like, here's something actually happening in the real world that is informing that view. It's not like, oh, someone said something, and therefore then that same person said something in the next week, and so it's changing. Like until there are real world things which change the environment, then I'm going to stay with my thing. And actually to this point, maybe I'll just extend it for a sec, Brad, the thinking that I am playing around with in my head, and I just kind of talk out loud on this show, explaining some of my early thoughts, is that I think there's plenty of time. I think the thing that happens in this space is the things that everyone is saying is correct. The reasons to be bullish are correct, right? But there are also the same reasons that we've always been bullish on crypto. The point is that there are cycles in any market, And because Bitcoin is digital gold, it doesn't mean that it's going to go to $1 million tomorrow. There are pullbacks in the way that things go up. And I think what happens sometimes, especially towards these later points, is people think it has to all happen immediately. And the thesis is almost entirely proven out, and therefore all of it has to happen tomorrow. It's like, no, you can, Hype can be the best decentralized perp platform. It can be, it can continue to be, and it can still go down to 25. It can, it 100% can, because the market can go bad, and therefore it will get sold off. It's the same. It was already becoming the best thing when it was 25, and then it got sold off to 8 or whatever. Like, if the market goes against you, the best things will go on a discount, and that's when you want to participate and get some of it. And so I think what happens is people start to think that the reasons to be bullish are like enduring and just will be the case all the time. It's like there's actually more time than you think. And the way I'm overlaying this on the political story for the next few years, okay, you've got midterms next year, at the end of next year with Trump. Then you've got obviously the election cycle, which kicks in a couple of years later or a year later or something like that. There's a lot of time, guys. There's a lot of time. Like, there's a whole year between now. It's only October. We could have some savage price action right here, right now, and then have a Santa rally in 2 months. Like, that would feel horrific for as much as 40 days. 40 days is a long time. And can you imagine what this place would be like if we went down for 40 days or something like that, and then had a Santa rally? Like, that's a possibility. I feel like the time aspect is not being appreciated enough. We could have a bear market for a year and still give Trump enough time to have a humongous rally at the end of his presidential term. What do we think about that?
So, one, you're evoking a thought in my head. Like, I have tried to repeatedly tell myself over the course of the last, I don't know, probably 6 years of like trying to do this shit, is that everything always takes longer than I assume it's going to take.
Yes.
Always.
Exactly.
Always. We're like, so, and I try to do that like as a thought exercise or a reminder for myself. So anytime I feel FOMO into anything, like I have to do this right now, because if I don't, then X, Y, I try to remember, like, I have always in retrospect said, man, that took longer than I thought. The opportunity was longer than I thought. That, like, there was always more than I thought. So, like, yes, everything you just said is true. Like, yeah, this place would be abysmal. It wouldn't be abysmal. It actually gets to be hilarious. Like, after you've reached a certain point, like, of misery, like, we're starting to get to the hilarious point over the last, like, I don't know, couple of weeks, right? Like, first it kind of sucked. Like, oh, things are bad. We're getting kind of anxious. But now you're seeing like a bunch of like the lion, it hates itself. The lion has to inform its girlfriend that he shouldn't have showed his UPNL screenshots. Like, so now it's starting to get funny. Like, we have a really good like knack for like turning it inward. So I actually think it would be horrible for a while, and then actually really hilarious for a while. And then my other thing is, like, I would actually push back on like the using other people's thoughts as data points, like, because I do that, okay, right? Like, I listen to podcasts. I use that as an aggregation of other people that I respect. Now, like, that doesn't mean trust everyone, and like everyone is a data point. You have to earn your right to be my data point, like based on like your history, how you approach problems, like all that stuff. But I don't think you should just like automatically discount, because like no person is going to know everything. So you're going to have to take in information from other sources, and those other sources can be other people. I tell people stuff about, like, I put my thoughts out there, and people hear me, listen to me about like technical shit, right? But like, they don't understand it, but they trust me because I've done stuff over a long enough period of time, and I think I'm a trustworthy person. Not perfect and everything, but you know, so it's just to say that like human data points is not a bad thing. But like selecting the humans is the challenge.
I agree. So I agree with everything you said. So I think that's a nice clarification. But the maybe the learning for me the last few weeks is I've never felt, and maybe this is because I do this every day now as well, I've never felt more like I need to not feel like I need to do what they say. Like, as you say, those people you respect, you want to ingest their thoughts because you think that you have respect for them. They're smart thinkers. They've done well so far. That's wise. But I've never felt
I don't want to inherit their thoughts.
To not do things as a consequence. Like, ingest it, decide, make my own data points from it. Like, here are the things that I think, and then do that, because I feel like that's actually worked out way better for me this time. And maybe frankly, I've only been around, like, it's my second cycle, arguably 1.5 cycles. So maybe I'm just finally getting to that level of confidence to be like, I don't care what you guys say, or I appreciate some of your thoughts. It's like, no, but this is my actual viewpoint right here, right now. It's my one. Like, it doesn't matter. And also, it's kind of dependent on your portfolio as well. Maybe like, this is the right thing for me to be doing right now for the makeup of my portfolio. So maybe that plays a role too. Good, interesting conversation. Hope that's helpful for you guys. We're kind of, switching around here between some macro thoughts, some portfolio thoughts, some management thoughts, risk management, all this stuff. One of the main, I was going to read a bunch of tweets, wasn't I? Before I went off on that.
Oh yeah.
Long.
I mean, are they still useful?
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll just do it quickly. So basically, Chris Beniski, prominent investor, said yesterday, increasingly convinced last Friday's massacre broke crypto for a while. Hard to quickly develop a sustained bid after such a meltdown. This cycle has been disappointing for most, which can paralyze action as people hope for bluer skies or former all-time highs. Says it does. We're still in an elevated range, although it's showing cracks. He says, I want to see Bitcoin respond to 100K, but will likely get interested in the market again when I see Bitcoin 75K or lower. The key word for me there is hope. I feel like a lot of people are hoping for higher, not actually writing down the concrete reasons for how we get there. Like, if I was to ask someone who's bullish now, like, who's buying? Tell me who's buying and why we go higher. I don't think it's a very strong, compelling answer. The answer to that question is not compelling to me. Whereas the
institutions are coming after we already did the DAT thing and after we already did the,
It's like, they're here, guys. They're here already. those DATs are already here. So basically, I'm not convinced by that, and I think there's a lot of hope rather than here's the concrete things. Before the DATs, you'd say, right, we've got all these DATs coming. They're going to be loaded up. They're raising all this money. They're going to, and that's actually what happened. Like, Sol has a DAT. Okay, let's pump Sol to 250 because they've got these DATs doing the buying. So that's what's there. We've got Wrong User, who's a really prominent frog on the timeline. I'm sure you're familiar with his profile picture. He said, you don't have to make it all back tomorrow. To be fair, you won't be able to. Conditions are among the worst I've seen in a while. Put some money in some of these ICOs, farm some cheap points, but play defense on the market. You can grow cash without having to make directional choices right now. I find that to be one of the more wise things. I've spoken a lot about these ICOs and how they're kind of constricting the supply, artificially in some ways creating demand by not letting too much in, creating a nice valuation, getting a bunch of people winning early. It's one of the best. That's one of the best plays at the moment, and you can do that all with stablecoins. Taking a directional view here when clearly no one knows anything. Maybe you do, or maybe you don't, because it doesn't seem like anyone does. So, being a bit lighter on yourself at the moment, I think could be wise. Any reflections there, Brad, before we head to our gold topic?
No, I just wish I was in that position. I'm still so mad at myself for choosing a direction, because like I was positioning myself for that, and I got lazy, took a position, and like now I'm stuck in it. So it's unfortunate, but again, small portion of my portfolio is just annoying more than anything, and I'm mad at myself.
It's the learning. We keep learning. Keep learning some of this stuff. I mean, my learning at the moment is that right here, right now. And so even though I'm positioned in an ETH short, it's not enough. It's like absolutely not enough. Like, for the size of my portfolio, the amount that I'm in is not it's not appropriately done. So we're learning this side of things. I think I don't think we've done this side as much before, but we keep learning and we keep sharing it on the show with you guys. So I hope that's helpful. Getting into the first headline today, we've only got 10 minutes left of the show, but we're gonna touch on these two things. One, gold has hit another all-time high at $4,350 as crypto has sold off hard. Gold becomes the first $30 trillion market cap asset in history. There was this funny conversation. I mean, you don't need to look at the chart again. You see what it's like. It just keeps going up. I think it's up 2% today again. Oh yeah. Okay. Now
the timeline is flooded with pictures of people lined up outside of wherever they can acquire gold.
Yeah. There was this interesting. Maybe I'll try and share my screen just for this bit. Actually, I don't know. It's not that funny, to be honest. Gainsey shared the Bitcoin to gold chart, which is reversing, and Bitcoin's losing a lot of its position against gold over some time. And Paolo from Tether actually replied to Kobe's tweet with the Homer Simpson like backing into the bushes, talking about how everyone's going into gold instead of Bitcoin at the moment. That's a smart company going both ways, right? They've got Tether Gold, they've got God knows how much Bitcoin. Like Tether doesn't care. They're making money both ways, and I suggest people start to think about how they can do the same. Frankly,
I made a tweet. I think it was yesterday, because I saw it was actually you guys talking on the show yesterday about gold coming on chain, and it made me start thinking about like we're trying to do all this stuff to try to make digital money, right? Everyone's like, oh, it's digital money, ETH is money, like all this shit. And the thing with the highest PMF in our industry is stablecoins. That's like it's actual money just brought on chain. And then I was like, we're basically doing the same thing with Bitcoin. We're like, oh man, like Bitcoin's digital gold, is all this stuff. And it's like, well, what if we just bring gold on chain? It's like, are people just going to prefer that over our trinket? And like, then that becomes like the ultimate PMF, is just, we just get the actual gold tokenized and on chain. As I saw, like it wick up to 4,600 on Hyperliquid yesterday, and it was getting weird, but just a thought that I had.
Yeah, that's funny. English has this good comment in the thing in response to what you said. Everyone was waiting for retail to show up, but retail was in metals the whole time. Yeah, retail are in the queue down at their local cash
gold stop. Yeah,
that's where they are. Interesting. Okay, so yeah, and I think people are still very uneducated about gold on chain. I was talking about this with Legendary yesterday on the show. People do not know that you can do all these things. We produced this write up in our Telegram chat yesterday or the day before, outlining some of the things that you can do with gold on chain, whether it's Tether Gold against wrapped Bitcoin on Uniswap, whether it's PaxG Gold versus Tether Gold, providing liquidity, getting like 6%, going gold to gold. Like,
nice.
This is all pretty interesting stuff, which I think the space is generally quite uneducated on. And so at least for a period of time, it might present some opportunity. Maybe that will get contracted pretty fast as people like us talk about it. And
I still think BTC is a catch-up trade. Like I still think that it's got the narrative enough, and there's enough people building it. I think it'll like gold is running. You're starting to hear all these people say like, oh my God, it's the tippity top, the bear, like things are going down, are going to die, don't buy. And people are starting to look for the catch-up trade. And I think digital gold Bitcoin is going to be a release valve for that.
Okay. Yeah. Let's get into the next headline, because I feel like the next headline is related to what we're talking about very much. I maybe think it's more related to what we're talking about than you, but let's get into our next headline, which is to do with the Trump family and some of Eric Trump's comments recently on how much money they've made from the crypto industry.
Yeah. So headline is Eric Trump says Trump family has already made $1 billion from crypto. Now, some clarity on that. It's kind of a gotcha headline based on the actual the reading of the report. So it's just the Financial Times investigation found that President Trump and his family's crypto businesses have profited $1 billion pre-tax. When asked if the calculations were accurate, Eric Trump told the publication that the true figure was probably more. So it's not like they were coming out and bragging like, oh my God, we're making so much money. They pressed them for figures and they said, yeah, I mean, like probably more. And they have, right? So if you look at World Liberty Financial, which is their Aave, I don't know if it's a front end, I think, or it's a fork, I forget these days, but it's a implementation of Aave. They generated more than 550 million in sales for that WLFI token, which is the governance token for it. They've also launched their USD1, which is their stable coin. Yeah, like they've all obviously made a bunch of money on this. You then start including like the Trump meme coin, the Melania meme coin, the NFTs that have been going out since last bear. Like it was 2022, 2023. We were minting those things on Polygon. So they've been doing it for a while. They've made a lot of money. I know your specific position is that you think people are getting fatigued from this. My position is that I think it is just like so commonplace that like it's not even like no one has an opinion on it. I don't have an opinion on it. Like, is this forcing you to sell? Do you feel jaded because of this?
I do.
You do?
I personally do find it jaded. I know some other big traders that are starting to increasingly look at our industry as a joke. This is the thing, man. I don't think, whilst there's always been aspects of the industry which is a joke. So like,
Yeah.
let's be clear about that. There's clearly some ridiculous aspects of the crypto industry at large. Bitcoin and some of the main aspects, smart contract platforms, supposed to be bigger and better and above. And I think something I'm increasingly concerned about is the connection between Bitcoin itself and Trump, and whether or not that can push forward further. And I know we've seen like historically humongous inflows into all of these ETFs, fastest growing ETFs we've ever seen. Great start to an ETF's kind of inception. And I don't know if this is like a super long-term view, right? Again, we talk about things, mainly in the pockets of like 3 months or so, 6 months-ish. And I'm concerned that this is becoming too much in the bucket of this is a Trump-led rally, and therefore we don't want to be a part of it. I think it's going to get politicized a little bit. And an interesting idea, I think it's,
In
it is
fairness, this is also a Trump-led bear market now.
potentially, which we'll all have to be grateful for when he leads us out of it in 12 months. So I think it's very unhelpful for people within the group to come out and make these kind of statements. I think it rubs everyone the wrong way. It makes people think that the industry is a joke. And therefore it will, I think, make certain people head to the exit door. One of the key questions, I haven't really got a view on this yet, Brad, so I'm curious for your thoughts. I know we're coming towards the end of the show. What about this idea that I've heard put out there recently about like Bitcoin being like America and then gold being China, right? So like this idea that obviously Trump has embraced it. That's been a big deal. People are happy. At least Bitcoiners and crypto are happy, we're going to get regulated and we're going to do all these things. And for a period of time, that was excellent. But then Bitcoin kind of being represented as an American thing, they politicize it themselves as well in a way, right? Because they said like, I can't remember if you ever said like Bitcoin made in America or something like, yeah. So it's like, we really want Bitcoin made in America. We want America to be the best, we want the best place for crypto. So, okay, well, if you're going to take that view, and the rest of the world is de-dollarizing, are they that incentivized to jump, once they've been debanked on that SWIFT banking system, which continuously freezes their assets and makes them compliant and subservient to the US administration and the dollar, are they going to jump into the next thing that they know the US is pushing specifically because they want stable coins to go out so that they can have some demand for their treasuries? And then, that kind of helps with the Bitcoin price long term. Or are they just going to say, no, hang on a sec, we're just going to keep buying the hell out of gold? So it's like America versus rest of the world, Bitcoin versus gold. What do you think? I don't have a formal position here. It's something I need to be thinking about over the weekend.
Yeah, I mean, America's I'm not afraid of being. So if that ends up being the position, I'm okay with that, because American stocks, like, yeah, okay, well, it's like the most profitable stock market group of companies in the world. I'm fine owning that thing and being that's fine, whatever. Commentary on the Swift thing, I'm not an expert in it, but I don't believe what you said was true. Like, that's not an American-owned thing. It actually is a fairly decentralized, neutral party that allows these people to interact. It's just the dollar itself that people are trying to get away from, right? And the U.S. debt that we're accumulating. So that is the thing that we do own that people are trying to get away from, which is pointing them to gold, not necessarily the Swift system specifically. But I'm not afraid of that narrative. I think it'd be cool. I can see it, but I I also think that people understand the core ethos of Bitcoin enough that they would know that like being an American thing is not like a thing. Like you can't make it an American thing, right? You can accumulate a bunch of it fairly like everyone else, but that doesn't make it an American thing.
I think I agree with you. I think this is, again, it's like it's a time horizon thing where ultimately you cannot make it one, but is that something that people will construe it as in the short to medium term because of the way that they posture and the way that they
I
put
mean, do you really think the globe's going to want to go after China? Like, let's just assume everyone says, okay, Bitcoin, America, China, gold. Like, do you really think everyone's going to then start like wanting to go with gold over America? I don't think.
Well,
I don't think.
at the moment,
I mean, but the motivation is
yeah, this
not
is
because
just
it's
like
the
the
China
narrative.
thing.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. The motivation is not because it's the China thing. The motivation is the inflation hedge, right? So, or the D-dollar, not de-dollarization, but like that debasement is the reason everyone's buying gold. And yeah, I just don't think China's in the political position to like have people buy things because of like of alignment with them, right? It's just they're not in that place. So if that does happen, I'm fine with it for a lot of reasons.
Okay. Wanted to put that out there. I think it's an interesting one to mull over. I don't know where I sit on that at the moment. I'm just broadly cautious of the Trump affiliation and pieces of news like this, which I know you said, you can kind of just see as, just let it go under the bridge. It doesn't matter what they say. Broadly, stuff is getting really put in place nicely for the crypto industry in the States. I think it does. It rubs me the wrong way. I think it does to some other very significant holders. And, I think that's why a lot of, potentially, maybe not the only reason, part of the reason why we've seen like a lot of big Bitcoin whales exiting Bitcoin now, because it's obviously not the thing that they thought it'd be, right? Like I don't know that it being held in loads of ETFs and BlackRock being in charge of it, and this affiliation with the or requiring Trump to tweet about it in order to make it go up. That's probably not the original thinking, but okay. Interesting discussion, guys. We've some people in the Telegram chat saying we've gone full on bear today. Sometimes we will.
Not me. I stood on ground like that. I think we're going up.
You said you were going to start drawing diagrams as well.
That's true. I guess that is a bear signal.
Yeah. Look, we're here to just share ideas all the time. We hope you enjoyed it as usual. Still a lot of opportunities in the market. We'll be reporting on all of them. Still got some delicious ICOs, I think, at a minimum, in the next month or two. That's probably where our opportunities lie in the most part. I would expect, at least in the short to medium term. So we'll keep our eyes on that as always. Hope you guys are doing well in this drawdown. Keep an eye out. It's a risky market at the moment. So hope you enjoyed. We do this every single day, just a reminder, from Monday to Friday, 7 a.m. Eastern time, live on X video, and you can catch us on YouTube, Apple, and Spotify podcasts as well. Thank you for joining us. Thank you to Brad for co-hosting. Hope you have a lovely day, a good weekend, and we'll catch you on the other side on Monday. Have a good one, guys. Take care. Bye-bye.